Welcome to Our Darling Town, the podcast where we explore the heart and soul of Darlington through its local independent businesses and the people that make it special. I'm James Carver.
I'm Henry Carver, and we're here to shine a spotlight on our beloved town. Join us as we sit down with the passionate local people to delve into their stories and uncover the unique contributions they make to our community and to find out about the town where we live.
Get ready to be inspired by the people and stories that make Darlington truly special.
What are your sort of ambitions, hopes, dreams, desires?
I was just thinking about this.
World domination. Spotify #1.
Our England town.
Spoiler, that was meant to be a surprise.
Right, cut that out, please. Cut that out,
It's the
please.
second ever edit of Our Darling Town.
Right, we need to do that today.
Get them printed. Emma?
Hello, welcome to Our Darling Town with a difference. Yes, I have turned the tables. My name's Adam. I have been a guest on Our Darling Town, and today I'm interviewing the Carver Brothers. Some say they are Darlington's answer to Ant Dec. Some think they might be the Chuckle Brothers. The jury's out, we're not really sure. But regardless of that, today I have got the pleasure of putting them in the hot seat while James is coughing on the microphone. You should know better. So to stick with tradition, I felt pressure today because Henry's done a fantastic job with his introductions. I have some introductions. So I'm going to introduce them to their own podcast. Very meta. So starting with James. James has over 30 years at Carver Group dealing with all things property, from residential to commercial sales and lettings. He also runs Fine and Country North Yorkshire and Durham with his brother Henry. Is that correct? Have I got that factually right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
That would mean I started work at 10.
That's what it says on your LinkedIn profile.
It's true.
Yeah. So there we go. So you started work at 10.
Yep.
There we go. He also runs Fine and Country. He's a lover of the outdoors and he's a committed runner. And he raised a whopping £8,400 for the Team Luke Foundation running the Teesdale Way in 24 hours. But that wasn't enough. He decided to add an extra 8 miles on to make it a 100-mile run. And that was in 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, good. Right.
Stupid idea.
Fact checking so far. Yes, it sounded horrendous. Not only has he done this, he is also involved in the local rugby club at Darlington Rugby Club. And on Sunday mornings, he can be found with whistle in hand, coaching the mighty under nines.
Correct.
Good. There we go. And Henry likes CrossFit.
Boom, done.
You'd have seen him on Instagram.
Yeah. So Henry, all joking aside, Henry works alongside James, both at Carver Group and, of course, Fine and Country, North Yorkshire and Durham. Henry is a bit of a trendsetter when it comes to social media. He's got almost 8,000 followers on social media. And the latest stat you've put on there is over 8 million views. But I reckon that'll be a lot more. When did you last update that?
That's probably a bit out of date, actually.
Yeah, I reckon.
Probably about 18 months out of date, I would suggest.
So there we go. So a lot more than that. Henry has developed a unique style. He's developed his own personal brand with much success and much engagement. He's always on the lookout for new ideas when it comes to marketing and how to engage people in showing, in this case, properties, such as his Mr. Darcy video, which was splendid. He can apparently walk on his hands.
Can.
Is that still true?
There's plenty of videos to prove it.
Yeah.
And whilst I joked at the start, Henry loves CrossFit and can be found in the early hours of the day, kipping in the gym, not sleeping, while performing an AMRAP on the WOD.
Yeah.
Are you impressed that I did I did my CrossFit research for that introduction?
Yeah.
So welcome to your own podcast, guys.
Thank you for having us. This definitely feels bizarre.
Is this because we didn't organise a real guest? Is that why we're doing this?
Well, there was discussion that you didn't have a guest, and then you were on about doing a reflective one.
Yeah.
And I said, what if I throw you some questions rather than you try and interview each other? So that's why I'm sat here, folks.
Thank you very much for agreeing to do it, Adam.
No worries. I didn't agree. I just offered.
Show us how it's really done.
Oh, yeah, something like that. I don't know. You guys have done a great job. So today is all about reflection of your podcast.
Yeah.
My first question is, how did you think it was going to go when you started, and how has it actually gone?
Okay. Well, you go on that one on the basis it was your idea.
Yeah, it sort of evolved from when I was doing lots of running training throughout 22, 23. and I was listening to loads and loads of podcasts, and Henry and I had been asked to go on a property-related podcast, which I'm sort of not the most confident in front of the camera or in sort of a media environment. So it was quite a big thing for me to do. Did it, we nailed it, and we felt fantastic. I felt fantastic afterwards. And I was thinking to provide a platform for small independent businesses in our area to come on and to chat and to tell us about themselves would be brilliant. So I had this idea, probably talked to Henry about it for about a year, and then he just said, I've booked it with you guys, and that was coming up 2 years ago. So we had no real plans. We just thought we'd get a couple of guests on, have a bit of a chat, and we're nearly 50 episodes down now.
We've done 41.
Yeah.
Yeah, total.
So I suppose I haven't actually answered your question here, have I?
No, so that was how did you think it was going to go, and
Yeah.
how has it actually gone? Because those two can be very different things.
How it's actually gone, it has been incredible. People are sort of messaging us regularly to ask to be guests on the show.
Yeah.
People are wanting to come on and have a chat about their story, about their business, which it feels fantastic to be able to do that. And from our point of view, it's really, really easy to do because we rock up here. We don't have to do a huge amount of prep, do a little bit of prep with the help from chat, possibly, on guests. But again, the way you guys produce it is fantastic. So thank you.
Oh, well,
for that.
you're welcome for that.
It's a bit of a cliche, but we were certainly stepping into the unknown. We had no clue what it was going to be like. But I think, James alluded to the fact that we now have guests knocking at the door, or potential guests knocking at the door, wanting to be part of it. Ironic that we've got no one in for this morning, but obviously back end of the year, a lot of people are involved in retail, so Christmas being a busy period, that's reason for it. But no, it's been very, very worthwhile us doing, and we will continue for many more episodes to come, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you see it with the way people engage. Our team have the pleasure, obviously we produce this podcast here, we have the pleasure of often bringing the guests up. And it's funny how in the early days people didn't really know what they were getting themselves into, as in they didn't, because the episodes were new, they hadn't seen it. However, now the traction that it's got, people know what they're going to get, you know, and it's really good.
It's quite an easy thing as well to talk about yourself and your own business. We're not people. I don't know if they're getting nervous before. It is a relaxed chat over a coffee for us to find out about them, how they started the business.
They can't get their own answers wrong. You know, it's about them and their life and their career, and what they do, and you know who they are as people.
They know the answers.
They know the answers. It's not like they have to prep.
Yeah.
Which is again, you know, quite a good thing as well. And yeah, we'll be forever thankful to John and Anne from Legs, who are our very first guests. I was looking through quite a lot of the older episodes. We're going back to 2023 now. And it was just me and you having a chat, and I was just thinking, that is so rubbish. Yeah. But as soon as we got the guests on, all of a sudden it's transformed the podcast to what it is now.
And it was always meant to be about the guests. So with that in mind, what are some of the standout episodes, guests that you've had on throughout the 4 series? We're 4 series in, aren't we?
Yeah. I'll let you take this one.
It was obviously you, Adam. You were
Not me.
It was me. I've been a guest as well, so it was me. For me, it was Phil and Lisa from the Vineyard Church. I thought their story was absolutely fantastic. Very sort of open, honest, vulnerable, talking about how they went from sort of a life. Phil went from a life in the army. Lisa went from a life in sort of corporate London. They were both spending lots of money, both earning lots of money.
Living what you would class, you know, a relatively normal sort of lifestyle, relative to what they did.
And then sort of they found faith and sold everything and went off to Myanmar to work in sort of the slums, if you like, with a child who was months old. And I just thought that was absolutely incredible. I'm not particularly religious myself, but just to hear how they gave up everything and formed a new life and set up a church, I think was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was a really good episode, that one. I remember thinking when that one came out that you wouldn't hear that story unless you're like able to have forum to put it out. So I think that was a really good example. What about you, Henry?
As in memorable moments?
Yeah, memorable moments, couple of key highlights, standout moments.
That's like asking me to choose like a favourite.
You don't have to
child.
choose a favourite. It's not a favourite. It's just a few standout moments.
There's been lots. I mean, as I said before, I was reviewing a lot of the episodes. Well, as many as I possibly could. And I think this is a generic answer. It's not specific, but I think just people opening up and us getting to know the people behind the brand, if you like. Getting people from behind their counter or behind their camera or whatever it might be, and actually just getting to know the person. So there's not been one specific standout moment that's sort of surprised me, what have you, but there's been many. There's been a significant amount over the course of the 41 episodes.
So when people are running businesses, why is that important for them to actually get out from behind their branding and let people see who they are?
Because people invest or people buy people. Yes, brand is one thing, but certainly in our industry, it's a service-based operation. What we do, we can't send a robot in to do our job. It's all about creating relationships, and what's actually behind the brand is equally as important as the actual brand itself.
You touched on it with Henry. He's great at his personal brand and getting on the camera. You guys are really good at it as well. It's that sort of that raw day-to-day story of what you're doing is what people find interesting.
Yeah, I think the challenge in business, people think it needs to be highly curated.
And really polished. I spoke to a friend last night about it, and he was looking to spend loads of money on producing this glitzy, glamoury video for his business. And I was like, no, just do it yourself and show us what you do. I would find that really, really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And that's where podcasting, I suppose, allows you to have that real conversation.
Yeah.
Regardless of production value, you can get to the heart of what you talk, the stories and...
Yeah, and actually a lot of people do ask, is this edited? And, before we start the episode, and I'll say, no, it's not. It's completely just an open conversation. There's actually only one time that we've had to do a cut, and that was Sean Campbell's phone went off after about 10 seconds. So it was a perfect time to cut it and restart. But yeah, that was the only ever time it's sort of been edited in any way.
That's brilliant. So with that in mind, then, biggest surprises. So where you've been sat there, you've had someone on, you're expecting it to go down a certain route. And I imagine this happens with many, like the story you just talked about there. There's many where you sort of get diverted into, well, hang on a minute, I didn't actually know about this. So what are those moments?
Well, okay, so I'm going back a little bit. So there's surprises, not necessarily for us because we do our research. We know, quite a lot about the guests anyway before they come. But actually for listeners, I've had feedback saying, I didn't know Stan and Jane weren't a married couple from Stan C. Just things like that, for example. Or who knew Harvey isn't called Harvey? Or Maggie's. Maggie's is called Maggie's, not because Alex and Jeanette are called Maggie. It's because of one of the previous owners. So it's just little things like that come up and people just think, oh, that's quite interesting. Or Stable Hearth is called Stable Hearth because of their first location
in Gainford.
At Gainford.
Cross Keys and Gainford.
Yeah, that's right. So the Cross Keys, I think there used to be. Again, I'm gonna ruin this story. Sorry, Gemma and Nick. But you'll have to listen to the full episode for the full facts. But it was about the fact that their first actual location was part of the stables. So that's why they're called Stable Hearth.
There we go. But now it's on Duke Street.
Now it's on Duke Street.
And you would be like, well, so there is actually a reason.
Yeah, there's reasons behind all these things. So that's just a few.
For me, it was Henry and I hadn't had a guest organised. This was probably going back a few seasons before Emma did our organising for us.
The legend that is Emma, that runs behind
absolutely.
the scenes, by the way.
Yeah.
You've never seen her on the pod, but she sorts you
She
out.
needs to come on the pod. We'll get her on. Emma, you're coming on the pod. And Henry and I had planned just to do something like this, a bit of a review, a bit of a chat, and we sat down to do it, and then Henry launches in with an introduction to me, and I genuinely had no idea he was planning to interview me, so that was a complete stitch-up. So I need to get you back at some point. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Pretend you've got a guest.
I really don't think there's much to talk about.
One of the early podcasts, Veronica from the Pasta Shop coming on and telling us about her story, and she used to be like an undercover journalist. Investigative.
Yeah, that's the one.
Easy
for you to say.
I'm not going to give it a go. You two have both messed that up. I'm not going to try. Investigative.
She used to go undercover.
I get it.
Yeah, she used to go undercover and go into warehouses to try and get scoops and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Again, Sean Campbell from Arthur Wharton
Yes.
Foundation. I think, again, I knew very little, embarrassingly, about Arthur Wharton and the work that Sean's doing, but I thought that was fantastic. Really, really good episode. And what he's got planning, what he wants to do for Darlington.
His aspirations are.
He wants to have a museum, a national sports museum in Darlington, which I think is a great idea. So, yeah.
It's interesting to hear that when people are the aspiration stuff is really important, right? Because quite often we keep it to ourselves for obvious reasons. People might say, I don't want to share it because what if it fails?
Yeah.
That's the first one.
Fear of failure.
But the second one is if you're talking about things that actually sometimes allows you to give an opportunity to help make it happen by other people getting involved and hearing what it's about. So I think that's a really good example. I think, so I'm looking over at the table here. Henry has a notepad full of notes, like 2 pages.
I wrote it myself.
Go on then, take us through what you've got on that piece of paper there, because there's some really key points I think you need to share.
Are we comparing Henry's notes to my notes?
You've just got Spotify
I've
open
got
over there. So Henry's got actual notes.
So I went through all the episodes and I tried to categorise them into charitable organisations, retail or service, arts and culture, food and drink, and then personal stories / history. For example, the likes of Chris Lloyd, who came on and told us about the history of Darlington, the railway, things like that. One of my favourite episodes, one of many. But no, out of 41 episodes, we've had 48 different people sat opposite us. 49 if you include yourself when you were interviewed. But yeah, just in the time, just the amount of people and stories we've had has just been exceptional and inspirational and all the rest of it. But I couldn't fit them onto my pad is what I think the question you were alluding to. And we'll get a picture of that and show everyone. But it's just we're
going to do some. We'll do a designed mock-up with some summaries. He's holding it up for those listening. So on that though, so you got food and drink there. You've got 1, 2, 3. You got 6.
Yeah, I ran out. I had to go back up again.
So there we go. So you got 8 on there, right? So for example, you might think from the outside you're going to interview 8 food and drink organisations. The stories are all going to be sort of similar. Has it struck you how different each business has been in terms of their journey and their setup and the challenges that they face?
Yeah. I mean, every single person is unique on there. I mean, you've got Baba from Alumo Foods, Roots and Culture. He's doing something obviously that hasn't been done in Darlington yet, and he's doing it exceptionally well with African foods and bringing the taste of Nigeria to Darlington. And then you've got Steve at Harvey's. He's called Steve, not Steve Chestnut, not Harvey.
Not Harvey.
Big surprise. He's had challenges, and just how he came to the lay-by just outside of Low Cliff is actually a story in itself. If he didn't choose that specific location, would he still be doing what he's doing now? Possibly not. But it's been a huge roaring success. He's now got a big building site behind him, so he's probably got a really booming trade at the moment.
I did see him when the building site was just setting up, and he said, "This is good for business."
Absolutely. And then we've alluded to Veronica at the pasta shop. Again, just discussing, how she found her way into business in Darlington. It's just it's brilliant to I could go through every single one.
And of course, absolutely. So if you could look at each and every podcast, different businesses, different people, different stories, what are the sort of biggest takeaways that you're seeing? So this could be, in short, our Darling Town it's a shop local message, really. So what are the challenges that are they seeing, as in a common theme across the thing? And then I suppose, secondly, why is it important to shop local? Like, why are you doing it? Like, really, like, why does it matter to you? So I suppose takeaways first. What are you seeing when you've had all of these different people in?
Passion. Every single person that we've interviewed is passionate about what they do.
And genuine care for the local area, and people do want to support each other. The business community is a fantastic one in Darlington. People want to support each other. And for us to give a platform for people to share their stories, give them a bit of personality behind their brand, makes a huge difference. We've heard stories where people have gone into a shop after listening to our podcast because, I don't know, it can sometimes be daunting going into a new place, a new restaurant, a new shop. but actually going in and you know a little bit about the person behind the counter, you can strike up a conversation, and that feeling of shopping you don't get with clicking a button online. Yes, you've got the convenience of it being delivered the next day, which there's a part for that, but being able to walk into Earth Warriors, which I do once every couple of weeks, and fill up my pots that kind of gives me, and having a bit of crack with Joe about his book.
Raunchy novels.
Novels.
There you go.
Did you know about the novels before
sorry.
you did the episode?
No, so I'm sorry. You say about surprises, and James mentioned before the episode started, it's so difficult to remember everything. It's impossible. But as soon as we mentioned Joe, I was like, yeah, of course. He did surprise us.
Yeah.
About his
because I was listening to it, I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, did you know about it? Because for those, he writes raunchy. Is that the title?
Yeah.
Raunchy novels. And you're like, we need to do maybe we should do a secondary episode to bring that in. Yeah, a bit of a spicy novel.
Yeah.
That was a big surprise.
That was out the blue.
But the importance of spending money locally is huge. And at this time of year, if you could just, I'm not saying give up internet shopping. That's not realistic for most of us. But just a couple of gifts, just stocking fillers for kids. Pop into Bliss Gifts. Pop into a shop in Darlington or
Legs.
Yeah.
Look for the retail.
Yeah.
Andy's candy.
Yeah, but it can be something as simple as getting your lunch out.
Yeah.
And not going to one of the major chains or your Christmas do.
Boycott Greggs.
For example, this
Don't
time
go
of
to
year.
Greggs.
Yeah.
Hard to do, but
I'm like looking at you going, you like Greggs.
Let's be realistic. But again, sort of helping local businesses. It's not just sort of spending their money, pays their rent, pays their staff wages. It sort of circulates locally. You spend it in Greggs, the money will vanish. You spend it locally, it makes a huge impact.
It pays their mortgage.
Yeah.
It allows their kids to go on trips and do various things. So it's a lot more than just paying the rent, obviously, but it's there's a lot more behind it.
Yeah, I think we hear a lot about the battle the high street faces in terms of the challenge. It gets lots of press coverage.
Yep.
The way you counter that is by being part of the change yourself, isn't it? Right, en masse. So hopefully that's where
Use it or we'll lose it.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully that's where the podcast sort of fills that gap and helps you. And obviously yourselves, you're a local business yourselves in terms of you're in the community that you work with. So obviously you've talked there. So put you on the spot. Do you lead by example? What do you try and do? Do you try and shop locally when you can? What are you sort of doing as an organisation yourselves?
I think I'll be very, very honest. Like sometimes I do fall out the habit of going to making a point of going to certain places. Life takes over, I get busy and all the rest of it, and everyone does. But it's just a case of stopping and looking around once in a while. Ferris Bueller, and actually going no, let's actually practice what we're preaching. And we're pretty good at it.
I think we do okay.
Yeah.
We can
room for improvement.
We can do an awful lot more, and we've sort of been reviewing our sort of company core values and vision and things where we want to take our business in the next year and what it means. And one of our huge core values is community. So again, we feel we do okay at it, but we've got an awful lot more that we want to do. This podcast, for example, we don't market it brilliantly. So we will sell, 500 houses every year, but we're not telling all of those clients that we've got a podcast, which could be useful to them and promote other businesses.
That's a really good point. So you're buying a house in the air quotes local community,
Correct.
And you've got a podcast that goes, especially for Darlington in this case. Here's a lot of information about the community you're moving into, especially if they're
we would be registering 300 new people every month on our database, but we're not telling them that we're doing this podcast. So that's something that we're going to be changing. We're going to provide materials to all of the guests so they can promote their own episode in their shops, which again, a QR code, you go into the pasta shop.
Spoiler, that was meant to be a surprise.
Oh, damn it. Right, cut that out, please. Cut that out,
the
please.
second ever edit of our Darlington.
Right, we need to do that today.
Get the printed. Emma?
Get those out ASAP. But again, that will promote it, and for the right reasons. Someone goes into a shop, scans the QR code, can learn a little bit about somebody's story, which I think will be positive, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's really good that you look inwardly, because you're actually holding yourself to quite a high account there. I'd say just bear in mind that you're also doing the podcast, like you're hosting people, you're giving the platform. So, and I have seen the events that you do. You know, you've sometimes had networking events and things. You're hosting it in local businesses. You know, you've been doing things.
The other thing we haven't touched on, we do a rap party, which if people sort of follow the social medias, after every season we host a rap party for all that season's guests to come along. That's
why I offered to host this today, just so the rap parties are really good though. Obviously the team come along with cameras and we'll do a feature on that. And I think if you have a look on the social media channels for our darling town, this is a bit of a plug, but there's other bits. So we do features on each person that comes on the episode. So we go to their shop and we go, you know, what's your name? Where do you come from? Very short, sort of 1 minute. What do you do? Bit of B-roll, so there's footage, you get a feel of what it is, and then that goes out on the channels in addition to the episodes coming out. And there's obviously the reels as well, where we chop that up. And then you got the rap party, where everyone really enjoys. Everyone, you know, it's always a really nice atmosphere in terms of when you got it.
Getting people to meet each other.
Yes,
that they wouldn't maybe cross in their normal business life, but getting everybody into a room. It's brilliant to see, and you'll find that guests will listen to other people's episodes before they come to the rap party, because they know
do their research.
Yeah. It's a great feeling to be hosting those.
And we're actually due a 4th rap party soon, actually.
I'm looking forward to
season 4, because obviously we've just gone into season 5 and we've only done 3 rap parties. So, if my maths serves me correctly, we are due one.
Definitely. They seem to come round so quickly, though. They really do. They really do. And I think that's partly because, obviously, you've got guests that are willing to come and get involved. It's kind of taking the administration side of the podcast out of it a little bit for you, because they want to do it. You're like, yeah, absolutely, let's go. And that's as far as it goes.
Yep.
So, little side quest here. If you could interview one person, anyone. So forget the local environment at the moment.
Yeah.
If you could interview one person,
dead or alive,
go for it.
Michael Parkinson. I think he would be up there.
Yeah. Why is that then?
Why? Because he's interviewed so many people in his career, and it would be great to probably do something similar that you're doing to us today, but maybe a little bit different scale to him. He came to mind straight away.
For me, this is maybe a spoiler because we've talked about doing it. My Granny Helen, our Granny Helen, who is just the most incredible human you'd ever meet. We're slightly biased, I would say, but she's got stacks of grandkids, stacks of great-grandchildren. She's 88. She is just the most positive person you could ever meet, and I think she'd just be fantastic. She just comes out. Ashley says, Henry's wife often says that, did you know that Gigi's been to so-and-so and she did this and she's that? And just these stories just crop up. And again, a slightly morbid thing to say, but she ain't going to be here.
None of us are.
In 10 years, maybe, assuming. And there's probably questions that our kids now are sort of asking. My eldest is 8, 5 and 3. And you hope they'll have the memories, but looking back, from the 3 grandparents we lost, we were really lucky to know them very, very well. But you forget time, you forget in time, and there's to have a record, a conversation on a microphone with Granny Helen, I think would be fantastic to share with.
I need to talk to you off camera because I've been looking at, it was actually my mum when she was working in the business, we were looking at reminiscence podcasts. Where people can. I've actually got some pots next door and USB sticks. So the idea is we'd record it. We had to work out the format, but yeah, I think that capturing the stories, capturing the memories are really important. I mean, you're talking there about Michael Parkinson, for example. The stories and memories that he would have of all, it's all relative, and I think we're fortunate now that we live in the age we live in, where we can document. So, have you, just side quest here with this then. So have you ever thought, obviously we Northern Echo's our local rag, local paper, and you can go in the library and you can look back at the history, and you've had the librarian in on the pod as well and talking about the history of the library.
Susie.
Yeah, but often you can refer back to the press. Do you not think that, when you've got these businesses, you're kind of creating that public record as well? Obviously, we don't know what the future of podcast hosting is in 100 years' time, and the world's got something to figure out in terms of how long does it keep all the stuff and things like this. But in a way, you're capturing that public record now. Have you ever thought of that?
No.
In that way?
Never thought about that.
There you go then.
Yeah.
So I think capturing those stories and ideas is really good because it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah, completely.
And then you can always go back and, if people develop something else, you can bring them back in and do that. So I think, it's a really good catalogue of what's going on right now in 2025 as we are today.
Yep.
It'd be interesting. But I think you're onto something about capturing those memories and future developments. Yep. So in terms of like looking at the podcast in the future, what are your sort of ambitions, hopes, dreams, desires?
I was just thinking about this.
World domination. Spotify #1.
Our England town.
Continue as we're going, but evolve as we go as well.
Yeah.
Again, looking back to the first 2 episodes, we've come a long way. I think a jingle. We need a jingle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Emma.
Someone.
They need a jingle.
If someone would like to do a jingle for us, royalty free, that would be brilliant. But
I'm sure because you haven't had
on.
any colleges or anything like that on, so maybe we could put a call out to a music course in a college
idea.
or something. There we
But
go.
yeah, we've got to have something like that. No, we'll continue doing it as long as people want to come on. Again, it's not all about the listenership and building that and having thousands of people listen on a monthly basis or have you. That's not that important. It's actually the person who's been here to go away and just have that sense of, I've just done something. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't have this platform. A lot of people don't have the ability to start ringing up newspapers or even the inclination to, but actually to get it out there on social medias, to get their face in front of people, get their stories in front of people is really, really worthwhile. As I said before, it will evolve. I think we've mentioned in the past about doing a couple on site, in people's restaurants or locations. That could be interesting.
We were
to
up
do.
for a curry tasting. Did we not talk about doing a curry tasting and getting you to eat a hot chili or something like
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think you'd be able to say much after that.
No, I've done that before. It wasn't that fun.
Yeah, I think more of the same. And I think from our point of view, I think we'd love to get more people listening or watching or engaging. So I think it's sort of how we publicise that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Which we've got plans for, which I've alluded to already.
Absolutely. And all the episodes are there. People can go back and listen to them.
Public record.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There we
Long
go.
tail.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
just a bit of a plug for you, Adam, and a thank you, I guess, as well. I mentioned it sort of earlier on in this episode. It is so easy to record a podcast for us. We rock up. You guys do absolutely everything. Your team are fantastic. Thank you, Alina, over there hiding behind the camera. Thank you, and to Adam as well.
We've got 2 Adams if people are
Adams,
wondering.
Adam
Makes
and
life
Adam and
really
Adam.
easy.
But we rock up. We record 2 or 3 episodes, and we just sit down. You make us a coffee. We have a conversation, and we leave. You do absolutely everything else. So if anyone's thinking of doing a podcast, which I was for about a year before Henry actually took action and booked it.
Henry took action because of one video I shared. I
Absolutely.
remember. I gave you a compare and contrast on the audio.
Give HubSpot Media a call and do it because it's had a huge impact on what we're doing, and I think people are interested about other people's stories.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's a pleasure to be part of. We want it as easy as possible. So we want your guests to come in and not worry about the cameras or the microphones. We don't want you guys to be worried about that sort of stuff. We want you to be relaxed so you can focus on the conversation, basically. With that in mind, there's a couple of things I just want to sort of close on. So you've done a huge amount, I'm pointing at Henry, you've done a huge amount on your social media and talking to camera. Podcasting is a bit different because when you're doing your pieces to camera, when you're not Mr. Darcy and you're talking to camera, obviously you kind of develop a script in your head and do it. What are the sort of challenges you've faced in developing your podcast style?
we got a style?
I don't know.
You have. Definitely got to have.
I don't know, because I think I come across as probably being the more confident of the two. That's probably safe to say. But yeah, I think originally I would have loads and loads of predefined questions in front of me, and I would try and stick to that. But I think there's no right or wrong thing to ask. It's a conversation. So
It just flows naturally.
So actually asking 10 set questions is the complete wrong thing to do. So I know I've got a book in front of me now, and I often have my phone there. The phone is there just to prompt if I needed it, or if I was looking at a fact, if I couldn't recall a fact, I would look at it. But actually just ask what's in front of you, discuss what's in front of you rather than going back to your notebook. So I think that was it wasn't a challenge as such, but it was something that I thought was the right thing to do. Have all these set questions, because they'll look and sound really good, or it'll sound good from me. But actually, if someone's going down one route and I take them over here, it's a disjointed conversation. So if someone's going down one route, you can arch back to that sort of question later on, but go with the flow. Allow them to be natural and discuss what they're wanting to discuss. Because I guess that's a long-winded way of saying don't stick to a script. Go with the flow.
Yeah. It'll get them talking, I suppose, as well, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So for you, James, I remember back in early episode, we were trying to get you to talk louder. Do you remember? But your style has changed.
I'm still trying.
You're fine now. Your style has changed though. So tell me about that journey for you, because obviously when we came in, we were talking, put the mics up, started recording, and you went a bit quiet, and then we were like, right, we need to bolster you in terms of that projection.
I tend to mumble, and my voice is quite low. So again, coaching under nines at rugby, I do need a whistle to get their attention. Henry or whoever, my dad always gives me a nudge to say, will you speak up a little bit? So it's like...
Dad gets so peed off. Will you just speak up?
It's funny because I've got to consciously think about speaking and how I'm delivering, which is difficult to do sometimes. I'm not as confident in front of the camera, but I guess that comes with time and practice, I guess.
I'd say that has come with time and practice, in fairness, don't you?
Yeah.
You should watch the first episode. It is
really?
Not only because of your hairstyle, it's changed now, but your slick back hair. And it looks a bit frizzy as well.
I'm going to grow it out again.
But no, the sort of your posture. You could tell you're not comfortable in the first episode, but you don't grow.
I still don't.
When you're comfortable.
Yeah, I still don't feel natural doing it, but I'm hopefully improving.
Yeah. So bear that in mind, because that's how you felt when you first started. Henry had your list of questions. This is what I'm going to ask people, and then you realise very quickly, actually, if I just stick to that, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
So put yourself in the guest shoes now. Future guests that have never been on a podcast before. What are you telling them?
Don't tap the table. Speak into the microphone.
If
you need to cough, do it away.
As in,
you just leaned away and coughed on the way back.
Someone who's never done a podcast and feeling a bit apprehensive, you mean?
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? Literally. We're not going to ask any questions that they don't know. Touched on that earlier. It is a very straightforward thing here. You get a very nice coffee. Come and give it a go. If you ever thought about doing a podcast, as in being a guest, put your hand up and let us know, and we can hopefully get you on in the not too distant future. Yeah,
I think one of my part is I always think it's really good practice to talk about your business, and a podcast allows you to
analyse,
get away. Analyse that, but also get away from the elevator pitch. Say you've got 30 seconds to tell someone about your business. You need to be able to do that in a way that's understandable and clear, and people often get that bit, but it's what happens after 30 seconds. Where do you go? What stories are you sharing? What are the challenges you faced? And I think the podcast does a really good job of getting to the heart of that.
People as well can be self-critical. I am as well with myself. I'll think no one want to hear my story. I'm not interesting enough. But actually, people are interested in everything. Just generally speaking, we as human beings are nosy people, and we do like to know people's stories. However, mundane the guests might think they are, it will be interesting to someone. That's all I would say.
Yep.
Brilliant. Well, that brings us to...
That's why we had you on a guest.
That brings us to the end of the episode today. Thank you for letting me host.
Thank you, Adam.
I'm looking
you.
forward to my rap party
Absolutely.
because I got myself in.
One and only.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I think the guests, we get to see them coming and going. They are always full of positives. I've picked up some fantastic stories and we've learned some interesting things when we've been going around doing the featurettes in terms of the videos and things. And obviously, if you're interested in getting on the pod, come and join in James and Henry. Just hit it up on social media.
Yep.
They all slide into the DMs and jobs are good. So thank you, A, for having me. Thank you for taking your time to answer those questions today.
Cheers.
Thanks, Adam.